Welcome to episode 324 of the show, Nigeria's longest running business podcast dedicated exclusively to the discipline and the art of sales and personal selling. Yesterday, I hope I was able to give a good reason why you should talk to your friends and your associates and other people in your network about things that you have discovered about growing your business, personal development, and stuff like that. Because if you do, there's going to be a feedback loop built into the whole thing where you get to sharpen each other and to make each other better, because good friends are going to share with you materials and resources that either confirm what it is that you're up to or that deny where it is that you are heading, because good friends want to help promote you if you're making progress, and also they don't want you to fall in a ditch if you're heading in the wrong direction. And while looking at that, I gave an example of an article that my friend sent to me. That's Tibi of Tibi and Tay Photography. She's a wedding photographer, but with an architectural background. So she's doing a lot of architecture and interior stuff these days. So if you're a decor person, just check out on Instagram, and yeah, she'll hook you up. Just let her know that you heard about her from Tavishima's podcast. Where was I? Okay, yes, he also does a little bit. He also does some personal branding as well, personal branding photography. And if you like any of the photographs that you've seen on any of my assets, my personal photos on Instagram, over here on the podcast, where else, or wherever you see me featured online, those are photographs that she has taken. So she's really good. So check out Tibi. That's TIBBY on Instagram. And if you're looking for a competent photographer, she's definitely someone that you should reach out to. Now, where was I? Okay, yeah, so she's an example of a good friend who is going to reach out to let you know when she finds something that confirms your business trajectory. Sorry, forgive me. So if she finds something that confirms your business trajectory, then she'll let you know. And there are loads of people out there. So that's why it's a good idea to keep talking to our friends and associates and everyone in our network. And the example that I gave was of an article that she sent me. I don't have the title before me right now, but I think the title was something like "Photography Doesn't Pay Your Bills, Sales Does." So if you're a first-time listener, if this is the first episode that you're listening to, after you're done with this, just skip back to the previous episode and you get all the juicy details there about the article. Let me see. Okay, yes. So in the previous episode, you're going to hear some more about the article. But I just want to make this recording to not correct, but rather to put a balanced emphasis on what I said yesterday and on what the whole point of that article is, or other articles that are similar. So this is not to say that you should forget about the fundamentals of your craft. So this doesn't mean cake baking mastery is not important, or that fundamentals of photography is not important, or fundamentals of project management is not important if you are a wedding planner or a decor person. So yes, the technical side and the fundamentals are really important, but what I was just trying to say was that these technical aspects or the fundamental aspects are not the key things that will distinguish us in the business, because these are entry stakes, especially now that we all have access to the same information and to the same equipment. So it's just entry stakes. But to reiterate again, if you're a photographer and your style is lackluster and you don't have a firm grasp on the fundamentals of photography, you are going to make it extremely difficult for yourself to blow up. And it's the same if you're a decor person. If you're not good on the fundamentals and you're not up to date on what the latest arranging schematics are, or the best kind of tables or chairs to have, or up to date with knowledge on crowd management, or whatever it is that you decor people do. I'm not trying to be disparaging. It's just that I don't have too many friends who are decor professionals, so I don't have a first-hand grasp on the technical aspects of what you do. So if you don't have a grasp on these fundamentals, you're going to make it difficult for yourself to blow up. So by all means, yes. If you are a carpenter, photographer, wedding planner, financial advisor, whatever it is that you do, yes, you always have to engage in professional education and also make sure that you're up to date on the technical aspects. You always have to be on the cusp of whatever the most advanced theory is out there these days. So make sure you know about everything. So if you're a photographer, yes, know about lighting, about composition, about the different cameras. Let's see what else, and all the technical stuff that you need. But just don't think that is going to be your distinguishing factor, especially since when we get down to it, our customers can't really tell the difference because they are not the specialists, they are not educated, and so they don't know. So if you're a cake baker, they don't know that you have a superior oven or a superior baking technique or a superior mixer. To them, you're all the same to them, especially when you guys are within a particular kind of threshold. So yes, there will be a difference if she goes to UTC and she tries to get, okay, well, I don't know if cake bakers are in UTC. But the bottom line is, yes, there'll be a difference if she tries to get a wedding cake for 20K and she gets your own wedding cake, which costs, 200K. Yes, she'll be able to taste the difference. But by the time we're in the same market range, maybe like between that 250 and 350 range, the customers really can't tell the difference. So once we are done with this whole thing about technical proficiency, how best do we bake? How best do we photograph? How best do we plan? How best do we cater? And all that. There is the matter of trying to introduce yourself to the market and trying to find the customer who can pay the kind of fees that you like. And that is the reason why sales, marketing, and all this other stuff is actually more important than technical proficiency. Because everybody in the market within a certain price range is technically proficient. The people that are going to stand out are those who know how to introduce themselves to the market, and also not just making sure that everyone in the market knows who they are, but making sure that they find the customers who can pay the kind of fees that they want. So if you are getting into this business, you want to be a 1.2M wedding photographer, and you make sure that people know who you are and all that, and you're technically proficient, then it's not much point if you're not able to find the right kind of customers who can pay that 1.2M or engage with those kind of customers in conversation so that you get your 1.2M asking fee. So it's not your knowledge of apertures and ovens and crowd control and project management and whatever it is that is going to help you find those customers. Because when it comes to getting access to the market, the disciplines we should be paying attention to are marketing, we should be paying attention to sales, we should be paying attention to branding and other things that are related. But of course, you all know that those of you who've been listening to the podcast for a while now, that my own particular fondness is with sales, but they're all important: marketing, sales, branding, etc. The way I like to look at it is that marketing is the mother, sales, branding, advertising, and all the other things are the children. So basically, you have to get acquainted with the whole family. So it's the same deal for those of you listening to this podcast, whether you're a business consultant, whether you're an architect, whether you're a baker, even if you're a hired assassin, it's still the same. Getting access to the market, making sure people know your specialty, finding the right kind of clients who can pay the kind of fees that you are looking for. So technical skills are going to make you great in your craft, and they're going to make you reliable, and they're going to make you efficient. Because if you have all the sales skill in the world, but then you are not great at your craft, you're not reliable, you're not efficient, you're not dependable, then the whole thing is going to fall apart. So they all work together. So I'm making this episode just that in case you listen to yesterday's episode, you don't get the idea that I'm downplaying technical skills. It's really important. They all work together. But just remember that once you're done with the whole thing about technical proficiency, this whole thing about getting profitable at your craft is a different matter entirely. So they both go hand in hand. So technically proficient, very good. That's one thing. Getting profitable, that's another matter entirely. So thanks again for listening to episode 324 of the Sales for the Nigerian Wedding Industry podcast. I'm your host, Abuja-based sales consultant and event media professional, Tavishima Ayede. Thanks for your time and attention. And if you find anything here that you consider to be useful, remember the tip from the last recording. Be sure to share with your friends and recommend with others. Also, subscribe so that when the next episode becomes available, you have it in your podcast app on your phone or on your computer, and so you can listen without hassle and continue to derive all the good stuff that we talk about over here on the podcast. So, thanks for listening, and I'll catch you guys at the next recording.